Hello. Hello. All right, we got audio now. Tell me if you guys think the audio sounds better than usual. I changed the preamp settings on this on my mixer, so hopefully it sounds a little bit better than normal. All right. Today we're back on live. It is Wednesday. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling back in the groove, which is really nice. Even though it's Wednesday, so it's my second time going live this week again. This is very coffee-y tasting. And put a lot of sweetener in it. Normally I just use maple syrup for sweetener. Today I want to talk about why you should resistance train when you have POTS. Why building muscle is so important. We went through the reasons why in the last live, but I feel like not everybody made it through the video for that. So yeah, I'm gonna wait for a little bit more people to get in here to hop in. Let's see how this goes. Let's see how many viewers we get on live today. Oh, I gotta get out my iPad. See how many viewers we get on live today. I want you guys to ask questions today. I want to have an active live and get questions and then do answers. I think that that's super important because you guys are here for information. So actively asking questions, being students to the game is important. At least to me it is. I don't know if you guys actually really care to learn shit or if you're just kind of here for the entertainment, but I want to serve a little bit more of a purpose than just entertainment for y'all. So all right. So we are going to wait for people to get in here. Say what's up when you're in here. W in the chat if you are in live, paying attention, cooling it with me. Hit that like button if you have not already. If you do value the content that's coming your way. All right. So look, I've talked a bunch of times about why you need to work on your cardiovascular fitness when it comes to POTS syndrome. And I'm still standing 10 toes down on that. I still believe 100% that it's very important that you do that. However, I think that a lot of people are missing the boat. And the reason why this even came up in the first place for me was that a client of mine had basically asked me why I program the way that I program, because the CHOPS protocol and other protocols for POTS heavily rely on aerobic fitness, cardiovascular fitness. And so something that really strikes me as interesting is that these programs, although they, how do I say this without like sounding like an asshole? Although these programs do help people, they seem to have a very high drop off rate. And what I mean by high drop off rate is that they seem to, once you stop those protocols, CHOPS protocol and all whatever the other ones, right? Even the central nervous system training stuff. What seems to be the common denominator for those and why people don't find long-term success for those is because when you stop doing it for a prolonged period of time, the adaptation is no longer there. And this is like pretty basic, simple exercise phys stuff. And I just want to kind of really dumb it down and give you guys the crux of why I believe strength training is the most important end goal. So like cardiovascular fitness and getting back your cardiovascular fitness is like point A, and then point B and beyond is strength training and maintaining a certain level of cardiovascular fitness. At least that's my opinion on it. So now, what is the basic exercise phys of this, right? Or like, that's what I'm going to call it. Basically it's this, and it's really simple. It's easy. It's a simple concept. I'm going to give you guys the example of marathon runners and endurance athletes. So even triathletes, right? to get to a certain level of fitness, right? And so imagine the race. So the triathlon or the marathon is the end goal, right? And we're going to make that akin to, what's it called? Recovery, okay? We're going to say that the end goal is the marathon or the race, and the POTS equivalent would be recovery or remission, right? Those two are the same thing here. So try to follow along with me. So for a marathon runner or a triathlete to get to the point that they're able to get to that race, they need to accumulate so much volume of training, right? They need to have a high level of fitness, high level of cardiorespiratory fitness. And to get there, they have to up their volume over time. So the training has to get more intense, more training until eventually they get to a point where they are at the fitness that they need to maintain in order to get to a race. So for most marathon runners, they will be running over 40 or 50 miles per week, and then they have to maintain that. Now, there might be different time domains or different like speed days or things of that nature, but that's what they have to do. They have to maintain a certain level of fitness in order to get to the race. That's number one. So the equivalent to that would be with POTS. When you build your aerobic base, you have to get to a certain point where you have gotten so much cardiovascular fitness in order to be in remission or to recover. Sorry guys, I can see this folding on the video, so it's distracting. So you have to get to a certain level of cardiovascular fitness in order to get your life back, basically, right? To be in remission. Now, once you get there, you've hit the race, right? Just like a marathon runner or a triathlete has gotten to a certain level to hit their race, to do their race, to run the race, to, whatever. Once you finish the race, if you want to maintain that level of fitness, race fitness, right? You need to continue doing race mileage. You need to continue doing race training. And the same thing goes for POTS when it comes to the aerobic fitness. You have to maintain that level of fitness throughout time. So you have to do like for me, with a lot of people, it turns out that for the most part, I have people doing their maintenance level of formal cardio will be anywhere between like an hour to an hour and a half a week. That turns out to be the sweet spot for a lot of people that I have. For a marathon runner, a triathlete, whatever, it's going to be a lot more than that, what have you. So anyway, you have to maintain that level of fitness. But what happens is when the marathon runner or the triathlete stops doing that volume of training, because it's an aerobic adaptation that they have made and a muscular endurance, obviously. But for their aerobic system to continue that level of fitness, they need to maintain that fitness. Now, when they drop off from that level of fitness, they no longer have that same conditioning. The same thing goes for POTS. If you stop your aerobic training for X amount of period of time, and I can speak to this right now, you become a little bit deconditioned. And for a lot of people, the drop-off happens fairly quickly. I went to Texas. I was in Texas 2 weeks ago. I just recently got injured, my low back. And so I've been pretty deconditioned because for the better part of 3 weeks now, I haven't been able to train with the same volume of aerobic fitness that I was before. So I'm pretty deconditioned. I can physically feel it. So for POTS, the reason why the aerobic training and the cardiovascular fitness is so important to just maintain a certain level and a certain level of mileage or training is because once you drop off, there will be an effect of deconditioning. Now, the reason why it's so important to get into strength training and hypertrophy and building muscle with POTS is because aerobic conditioning is something that drops off fairly quickly. But when you start to do resistance training and when you start to build muscle, your body has to make an actual physiological adaptation to support that kind of training via lean tissue. So it actually has to build tissue in order to support what you're doing. When you are doing aerobic fitness or cardiorespiratory fitness, you don't have to build tissue. There's no tissue that is required in order to build your lung capacity or your VO2 max. That's not required. It may happen if you're doing like air bike intervals, your legs might get a little bit bigger or whatever, but that's a side effect. It's not a necessity of building that kind of fitness. Why this is so important that you build muscle for your recovery of POTS is because, number one, weight training can be done in a fashion where it actually maintains or improves your cardiovascular fitness. CrossFit does that very well. Drop sets do that very well. Trisets or giant sets do that very well. There's a lot of different ways that you can skin a cat for this, but the most important aspect of it is, so long as you are eating sufficient enough protein, if you stop weight training for a little while, you're not going to lose that tissue. And all the benefits that come with building muscle, better blood circulation, more oxygenation, basically like your body's ability to uptake oxygen is better. Your body's ability to partition glucose and nutrient partition, all these different things that happen as a side effect of building muscle, they stay. Now, that's not to say that you won't get a little bit deconditioned cardiovascularly. That will definitely happen. However, all the benefits that you get from building muscle will maintain so long as you do the right things to maintain muscle. And that just doesn't happen with cardiovascular fitness. Cardiovascular fitness, of course, is great because you need to train your heart, blah, 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 all this stuff. However, you can get the same effects from building muscle. You can get the same effects from strength training. You can get the same effects from doing circuit training with weights. All these amazing benefits, right? And so that's why I think that strength training, resistance training is definitely the thing that you should make as your end goal when it comes to POTS. All these programs, all these people, all these doctors, all they do is tell you to go and do cardio, recumbent cycling, all this stuff. And yeah, that works. That works very acutely. But I think personally, honestly, that the end goal should always be to get to a point where you get to a maintenance level of cardio per week, and you are doing the bulk of your fitness as some sort of resistance training, whether it be some sort of CrossFit style training whether you're doing high intensity intervals with, weights, or if you're doing like bodybuilding or powerlifting plus aerobic training. The other benefits that are super, obvious for weight training is the carrying load, using load as a form of your exercise has profound blood pressure benefits, because under load, your blood pressure will skyrocket, right? When you're doing like squats or deadlifts, your blood pressure skyrockets and then it has to regulate down. What your body is doing there is making adaptations in order to lower your blood pressure. And the other things that it does, again, like glucose partitioning, nutrient partitioning, all that stuff. You get so many benefits from it. And so when you get these people that are like, you shouldn't be weightlifting, it's very it's dangerous for people with POTS because of, pre-syncope and all that stuff. It's patently false. It's just absolutely false. It's probably the number one thing that will make your life better. In the way that you get there, though, is first you work on the cardiorespiratory fitness. You do that for a while. You get to a point where you can do maintenance level. You're having normal life. You're having somewhat normal life. Then you get into resistance training via calisthenics and things of that nature, and you slowly progressive overload over time. So if you were doing body weight squats, then what you would do is some sort of goblet squat or something like that, where you're handling some sort of load, and then you would move to a barbell, handle more load over time. You guys can see the slow approach here. My preferred way of resistance training for people with POTS, I'm partial. It is going to be CrossFit. And like I said, there's a million ways to skin a cat. CrossFit is infinitely scalable, which is a really good thing. That means that when you see like a CrossFit Games athlete or someone like me or someone like my girlfriend or a higher level athlete doing all this crazy shit where we're, doing inversions, we're doing handstand walking, handstand push-ups, and all this stuff, all of that can be scaled and tailored to a newbie. So instead of doing handstand push-ups, you would do maybe dumbbell shoulder press, or instead of doing handstand walks, you would do some sort of shoulder tapping plank, something like that. That's the benefit to CrossFit, that is that you can infinitely scale it. So do whatever your fitness level and skill level it allows you to do, but then you're mixing modalities. So the cool thing is that I've found with CrossFit and how it helped me so much with my POTS is that it takes you through a variety of positions and it takes you through a variety of stimulus. So while you have to do like, I don't know, a 500-meter row very hard, right after that, you might have to go into like heavy-ish deadlifts. And again, heavy is very subjective. Heavy is, partial to you. And then from there, you might have to do burpees. So all in one, you have done some sort of cardio, some sort of monostructural movement, right? Which would be the row. Then you've done your resistance training, which is the deadlifts. And then after that, you've done your positional change. Well, actually, deadlift would also be positional change, but it's mostly resistance, right? And then the burpees would be your positional change, which is like you just skinned a cat, and then you get your workout done. You get a heavy stimulus done in about 20 to 30 minutes, and then you're done training. That's what I think is so powerful about CrossFit. Now, if you don't want to do all that, it's totally fine to just figure out what your maintenance level of cardio is. If you have more time in the gym, rather, it's totally fine to find what your maintenance level of cardio is. My recommendation would be to put front load some of it. So put some of it in the beginning of your workout. Do strength training, do your deadlifts, your squats, or your, if you're not there yet, do your dumbbell RDLs or your lying leg curls, and then do the rest of your stuff after. My preferred method of training people always goes cardiovascular fitness, figure out what their maintenance level of cardio is, start with doing calisthenics at home, move them to a gym, a lot of prone exercises, because by the time that I get people in the gym, most times they're pretty functional and they can stand up and they can do all the other stuff, and we slowly work them up. But if they're not there yet, building muscle in prone or, seated positions. So like a leg press, we can do instead of squats. We can do lying leg curls instead of deadlifts or RDLs. And then what I like to do is take them through positional changes via things like hyperextensions or hip extensions, 45-degree back extensions, or, even this is a weird one, but a lot of people are really affected by this for some reason, putting hands overhead. So things like lat pull downs or even dumbbell shoulder press or barbell shoulder press, for some reason I've noticed affects people a lot. So taking them through movements like that in order to train the movement so that their body makes the adaptations to it and they feel safe. We got people watching. If you're watching, hit that like button, please. Send me a chat. Let me know what you want me to cover with this. There ain't no way, dude. We're about to put some element up in this joint. As with everything, take it all slowly. Take it all slowly. I've seen a lot of people go on like, admittedly, I'm a part of one POTS group on Facebook, which is called like POTS Fully Recovered. And I see oftentimes people ask the question if weightlifting is detrimental towards POTS or if it's safe. And every time I'm just kind of like astounded by the comments, or astonished, astounded, because they're always like, people will be like, it wrecked me, and it's like, Yeah, because a lot of times people with POTS, when they feel good, they go at it like they're good, and then they crash themselves. More times than not, I have to have conversations with clients about pulling back and doing far less than they are doing for an extended period of time so that we can get them to a point where they are able to do exactly what they want to do, you know? So my other piece of advice with this would be, when you feel good, act like you don't feel good. Stick to solid, slow progressions. So if last week you squatted 65 pounds and you were feeling okay, and then this week you feel really good, so you're like, I'm going to go to 95 pounds. Don't. Just go to 70 pounds. And then the next week, go to 75 pounds. And then the week after that, go to 80. Week after that, you guys can get what I'm saying. Now, how to maintain muscle with POTS, or how to gain it in the first place. If you're a newbie to training, which most of you guys will acquire newbie gains, it's going to be pretty simple. All you actually have to do is just start resistance training, and you're going to build some sort of muscle. But as you go on, you're going to realize that nutrition is a heavy, heavy, heavy portion of this. And so what I mean by that is that you're going to have to start thinking about protein and how much protein you're eating. Probably anywhere between 0.85 grams per pound of body weight, not lean mass, per pound of body weight, to about 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Now, does this hurt your liver? Blah, 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 blah. There's not really much data to suggest that it actually does. It's really, really sparse data that says that, and it's not very good from my understanding. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. And also, the cool thing about protein is that it's very hard to get fat eating it, which is the good part. So the more protein, the better. I'm going to open up like the rest of this to people for asking questions. Go ahead and send some chats up in here. Jazan, what's up? What were a few of the latest struggles your clients were dealing with, and how did they overcome them? That's a really good question, Jazan. Recently, More than I would like to admit, recently a few of my clients have had more struggles than I would like to admit, and I think that this is just part of the game, right? Part of the game. I I've recently like acquired a few clients that have pretty significant issues with pots. So, but some something that is trending is so many of my people with pots have gotten sick recently. Um like COVID or some sort of bug. And so struggling from getting them back from getting sick back to like functioning how they were before has been a struggle. Um, and what sucks is that there's really no exact answer with how to get over that hump because it's viral. And unfortunately, like the flu, COVID, a cold affects so many people so many different ways. And so really what I tend to do with those people is really pull back. So pull back a lot because even when they feel like they've cleared the virus, um, still pulling back. So like if they're sick and it's been like a week, I'll still pull back usually for like another week and then slowly reintroduce them, which sucks because it feels like even to me, right, as the coach, it feels like they have taken like 4 steps backwards, but it's really beneficial to take that step back for even like a few weeks and so that they can step forward again. So that's basically what it's been, and that's how we overcome it. Pulling back a lot. COVID on tops of pot. COVID on top of pot sounds scary. Yeah, it's scary for some people. I mean, not scary. It just sucks. It really exacerbates their symptoms if they're still in the thick of pots, which is like the shitty part, right? Like for me, I had COVID a while back, but even with pots, I didn't feel it. I wasn't affected by it at all. I had I had a headache for like 4 hours. And then the rest of the time that I had COVID, it wasn't bad. I had a headache for 4 hours one day. And then, yeah, I remember I worked out, not at a gym or anything, in the garage. But it's scary for some people. I think mostly really what the issue tends to be is like the fear of what might happen when you're sick, not just with COVID. Um, a lot of POTS people, as I talk about a bunch of times on here, there's a lot of health anxiety, so they're like really scared, or they're scared that they're gonna lose all their progress or whatever. And I just try to do my best to ensure them that like you're okay, this is gonna be fine. We might have to take a few steps back, but we're gonna be okay. Getting long COVID on top of ME/CFS sounds horrid. I know people who were functional and then became bedbound because of it. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yep. How slow do you reintroduce? I'm like really conservative with when it comes to beating infection, like some sort of virus, and then coming back into to exercise because even people without POTS, COVID can really take a hit on the cardiovascular system, right? So like even people without POTS, I've had like it took weeks for them to get their breathing back, like weeks to get their breathing back. So um yeah, so I'm really conservative. So I don't know, it's different for everybody. I really go based on feel, you know. And I pay a lot of attention to their metrics within the app, like um what's their progress looking like, things of that nature. How many steps have they been able to get? um, what's their appetite looking like? How much have they been able to eat since virus? How much are they drinking water? What's their, sodium and all that intake? Because a lot of that stuff tends to go down when getting sick. Like people just stop eating, right? I mean, not rightfully so, but like understandably so. They just tend to stop eating and all this stuff. So, yeah, yeah. Thanks. So we're conservative. We take our time. We take our time with it. What's up, guys? More and more people are joining. Hit that like button for me so that pushes in the algo. I still don't know why YouTube is not recommending my videos to my subscribers. It really sucks. It might be just because like I haven't been able to be as active on live lately. I think in the last 2 weeks I've gone live 3 times because of travel and other stuff. But yeah, we're trying to get it popping again. Hit me with more questions, guys. I want to be here. I basically covered why strength training for POTS is so crucial at the beginning of this. So if you weren't here, make sure that you go back and you watch it. I'm probably going to post a video about it, but I want to run this by you guys too. I did this just on you too. I don't know, because you're here. I wanted to run this by you guys. This channel is like a POTS channel. At least it has been. That's how I got to where I'm at. That's how I got over 1,100 subscribers now. I did get a notification for this specific live, by the way, not for others. Really? What the heck, dude? That would explain why people are popping in like so much this time. Like I'm getting so many pop-ins and what? Okay. I don't know what the heck is going on then. I really don't know what's going on. I want to get your guys' perspective on this though. I've covered I'm going to be super upfront and honest about this. I've covered just about everything I think I can with POTS. Without having like questions. You know, I've covered just about everything that I think I can actually cover. And so like creating videos specifically for POTS rather than just making broad videos with health recommendations and like, you know, this is how we live a lifestyle of like health and wellness. I think that that's kind of where I want to shift my channel more to and start collaborating with more people, like more like maybe functional medicine doctors around my area and stuff like that. It's just focusing on POTS is really, really hard. Because if you look at my channel, everything is like blah, 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 POTS syndrome, blah, 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 POTS syndrome. It's like I've covered basically what I think could be everything. And in a lot of the videos too, if you pay attention, I'm like regurgitating the same shit over and over again. And it's like I get really nice, really good comments and every single time. And I get emails still, you know, all the time, like this video, blah, blah, thank you so much for your content, all this stuff. And it's like, that's all fine and dandy. But to be honest with you guys, I feel like I'm just not adding that much value if I keep spitting out the same shit over and over and over again. And that is just not my goal whatsoever with this channel, to just keep telling you guys the same thing. Like I don't find pleasure in that. I maybe you guys do because you want to hear the same messages all the time. I know some of you like my style of yelling at you, and some of you don't like my style of yelling at you, stuff like that. But I feel like I would personally rather just start becoming more broad than just focusing on POTS, because being more broad and giving more recommendations, like there's so many things that you can do lifestyle wise that will contribute to your betterment of your POTS and your POTS syndrome and stuff, that it doesn't have to be POTS specific. All the things that I do, and the only reason why I put POTS syndrome in the titles and everything like that, if I'm being completely honest, which makes me feel like a whore, right, is because I was chasing 1,000 subscribers for so long. And I was like, well, not for so long. It honestly happened as soon as I like figured out the formula. But like, I just don't want to keep doing it like that. Like, it just doesn't seem authentic. It's just not. You know, like a lot of the recommendations I give to like my people that I train or that I coach, Erica B, what's up, dude? A lot of recommendations I give to people is like lifestyle shit, right? It's always like track your diet, figure out what foods are messing with you, look into the gene therapy stuff, and you know, vitamins, methylation, all these things that I could go talk to a whole host of people about, but I don't want it to just be focused on POTS, because all this shit, all of it is good for POTS. All of it is good for POTS, but it's also really good for everyone, you know? So yeah, Get your physical therapist on the stream for an interview too. You know what's funny about that is I literally was at him yesterday and we confirmed to do a podcast. So Erica, you're thinking right in line with what I've been thinking. You guys, I'm getting sick too, I think. I like last night had low key, I think a little fever. Jazan, do you guys have this? Weird question. I told my girlfriend this morning, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that I had a fever last night, or at least a low grade fever, because I could smell my sweat. And when I have a fever, I have a certain smell of my sweat that I just like know is like, oh, you were just fighting something. And my heart rate was a little bit higher last night. I checked my stats every morning to see, because especially because I'm injured right now, I like to check my HRV, see where I'm at for recovery purposes, for training. My heart rate was at like 48, which is a little bit high for me. What? Oh, are you laughing at me? Oh, oh. I feel like it's only normal to start branching out when you've said all you can say on one topic. A more whole body health focus sounds nice. Yeah, I think it sounds nice too. I don't know. And what's hard about this is I have 2 YouTube channels and like I kind of want to somehow figure out how to mix them. Because it would make everything so much freaking simpler, dude. Like so much simpler. Thank you so much. Can I have salt? Oh, thanks. Look at this. This is how lucky I am. My girlfriend just handed me food during my live stream. When I have a fever, I tend to smell for salty, my husband says. LOL. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So you have a distinct fever smell too. That's funny. I thought it was weird for that. Jazan, what was the second one about? The second YouTube channel? Is that what you're talking about? The second YouTube channel is this right here, the Counterculture Podcast. That's why I have this big banner up. The Counterculture, what I like to say is that it's cool people doing cool shit. Basically, it's about anything countercultural, right? Because I'm very much so like, you guys know I'm an entrepreneur. So I like to talk to people, about entrepreneurship. I like to talk about masculinity. I like to talk about CrossFit. I like to talk about fitness, health, wellness on it. I have an array of people on the Counterculture Podcast, from professional CrossFit athletes that I've been able to connect with to people who have like $50 million plus businesses, really successful people, real estate people. It's just like an array of people. Yeah. Yeah. It's been good. So that's what that one's about. And we go to a lot of CrossFit events for it and stuff. So. So I've been wanting to mix the two somehow. I don't know. We'll see. Or hot. Bring on athletes if comfortable who deal with chronic illness. Yeah, that would be a good idea. I don't know. Well, actually, I have one friend who's a high level CrossFit athlete. He's like a games athlete. And he has some sort of like, he went like blind. Almost went blind. Babe, what did Colton Mertens have with his eye? He has an autoimmune inflammatory retinitis. It's autoimmune. He has like an autoimmune disease that basically almost took him out from his season a couple years ago. It's like a genetic mutation. But yeah, that would actually be really cool. I'm supposed to go to his house in like a month in Iowa. So this channel could maybe be a more informative and factual version of your counterculture YouTube. Yeah, could be that. I think, my plan is just to like have more health practitioners and stuff talk on here. There's a couple of people in my area that, like, there's this one girl, her name is Marnie. She supposedly is like, I don't know, like a miracle worker for people with chronic illness. And she does this thing called like muscle, I don't know. She like touches you and sees how your muscle reflex. I don't know exactly what it is. Muscle reflex something. And that's how she like diagnoses people and then puts them on supplements and stuff. But she's won like a bunch of awards. So I think she might be a good person to have on this. Yeah. Muscle reflex testing. That is exactly it, Jazan. Yes. I know nothing about it. All I know about that is that some people call BS on it and other people say it's really, really cool and really, really good. Eric, you don't have to listen to me. Just give me my thoughts. No, I know. I like your thoughts. I like the idea. I think it's a good idea. However, a lot of you guys might not like Colton Merton's approach. It's very similar to mine. Very personal accountability. It's your, figure it out yourself, all these things, that I talk about. Yeah. So anyway, and then there's like another naturopath that's like, I don't know, 15 minutes away from me. That one of my in-person clients, who by the way has POTS, that she goes and sees. Yeah, so she might be a good person to talk to. Like, there's a lot of people that I'm connected with. I have this chiropractor dude who I'm friends with. Yeah. Well, we'll see. For those of you wondering, yes, I'm just eating brisket and cheese. I'm going to sit down since I've been standing for 44 minutes. They are? Nice. Now she owes me. Now she can't say she disagrees with 99% of what I say. All right. Sounds like you are heading towards an interview channel. I like to talk to people, dude. I like to talk to people and I like to get people's perspectives on things. And I like to test the Socratic method and, I like to talk to people. And like, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Like, I want to be an influencer. Like, I want to have sponsors. I want people to buy product from me. Like, I want this to be an actual business and I want people to look up to me. Like, because I just feel like I have a lot to say. Like, I'm not going to be, dishonest about that. But also I think it's really important to shine the spotlight on other people because other people have a lot to say too. And some people just don't have the want or the ability or the courage to start filming themselves and putting information out there because they're scared of what people might say or whatever the reason is. So if I can be a platform partially for other people's message to get out there, I think it's a good thing, So yeah, I do want to interview people on this channel. I also want people to follow me, because I like to help people and I want to build businesses and this is part of doing that. And I've always been super upfront about that. Part of this for me is about making money for sure, but more so the whole thing is to help people. But and you got to when you're helping people, you got to make money off of it, because you can't give your time away for free. At least I can't. I literally can't afford to give away my time for free. I wish that I could, but I can't. Yeah. So if I can help shine a light, because again, like this muscle reflex thing, this is an example. A lot of people think that it's bullshit, but then a lot of people have benefited from it. So if I can give her the platform to 1,000 people, not all 1,000 people watch my videos, like more like 100 to 400 people do on average, not the lives, but the actual videos. If I can be the platform for that to get out, and maybe it helps, like, I don't know, even one person, if it helps even one person, that's worth it to me. So. I've also thought about just doing like more vlogs on this channel, just like showing you guys legitimately like what my day looks like how I live day to day, taking you to work with me, because my clients don't give a shit if I film them. The dude that I rent space from, the gym, doesn't give a shit if I film. He'd probably prefer it, due to free marketing. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I've thought about doing that too. It just gives out more content, and it's easy content. And I have a video that I've been editing on my iPad that I don't even want to put out, because it just kind of feels corny. And I'm going to put it out, but yeah, I don't know. Have you considered showing what an intro workout to POTS looks like? This might be silly. I don't think that is silly. A lot of people do that, from what I understand. Like, there's Satsuko. She watches. She joins the chat a lot of times. She was a client of mine for a little bit, and she follows a lot of workout like videos for POTS on YouTube. I've never went and searched them, but I have been, YouTube gives you like the analytics and the data, like what you should be posting, what people you're subscribed to often look for. And that is one thing that that has popped up time and time again, is like resistance training for POTS or POTS workout. Like those are things that are frequently searched by you guys, I guess. And like, yeah, I've thought about it. I've thought about doing that. And maybe it's just paralysis by analysis for me, but like Erica, the way that you started working out is so different than how Mick started working out, and how and like maybe what I could do is I could do like general recommendations, because on my app, if you haven't joined, go ahead and click the link below. There's 2 different tracks, how to start. So maybe I could. Yeah. That probably should be something that I do, actually. Not just to say yes to what you're saying, but it probably should be something that I do, because the only thing that you guys see workout wise from my channel is what I do as a recovered remission person. I've talked on live and on videos about how I started working out, but I've never shown how I start people working out. So that's actually a really good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think part of my issue with a lot of this is a lot of you guys have way more exposure to the POTS community than I do, because I don't spend any time on Reddit or sorry that I'm chewing, guys. I have to eat. I don't spend any time on Reddit, Facebook groups. I'm part of one Facebook group and I don't even look in it. I don't follow any TikTok influencers that have pots. I don't follow anyone besides the pots coach. And I never see her stuff anyway because I don't even go on my own personal Instagram that much, which I'm going to start doing more of. So I think that I'm super disconnected. And that's why I like to ask you guys, because I'm so far removed from the POTS community and what's going on that I don't even have a clue, you know? There's a doctor who explains how they help the specific person in every video. I really like hearing all the differences. The POTS coach has a YouTube now. She does. So what's funny about you saying that is that I have asked a bunch of my clients or even ex-clients to make a video for me, and I'll put them on the channel if they're cool with it, to like film videos, you know, like literally just take a bunch of clips and then I'll put it together of their what they do day to day, or you know what their workout routine is, blah blah blah. And they've all said yes, but I have not received one. And then I have other clients besides Mick that I work with that have also agreed to go live with me. But it's just like we're trying to figure out when to go live, or you know how it works for them. So yeah, Jazan, that's a really cool thing, and I really want to do that too. It's just figuring out times with people. A lot of my clients are in way different time zones than me. So I have one client and maybe another one in Australia, or another one coming in Australia, which is like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours ahead of me. So that's a really hard live to do. And then all of my other ones are like 2 hours ahead or 2 hours behind. Erica B, basically people look for how to start working out with POTS. Maybe you might be able to create a simple video on where to start. That's a good idea. Yeah. Let me write that down, Erica. Let me write that down. Good notes. Okay. What are we doing? How to start working out with POTS. You want to help me film that video, babe?
What video?
How to start working out with POTS. You can just be my filmer. No. Why? I can text them. Because you don't want it, right? I said I can ask him because you don't want it, right? Okay. Erica B. Like, remember, I was scared to run and you helped me overcome that fear by having me do other workouts to get me ready to run. So that an example. Yeah. Yeah, I remember you told me that you wanted to run a mile shortly before we stopped working together. And I was like, Erica, you've been running a mile. You just didn't know it. Jazan, I did how to start working out with POTS in Dutch. If you want inspo, you can ask ChatGPT to translate the captions. Okay. ChatGPT will translate a video? What? What? That's crazy, dude. I'm scared of AI. I'm heavily scared of AI. There's Sugimoto. I was just talking about you. Smile, Justin. You're on my TV. You're a star. Yeah, boy. Don't take a screenshot of my cheeks filled up with meat. I already feel like I'm looking chubby with this facial hair on me. I just told that to my hairstylist yesterday. You guys believe I actually go get my hair cut? I just get this stuff. Nice things, I hope. Yeah, absolutely. They were just saying how I should film a video on how to start working out with pots. And I said that you were one of my clients that would tell me that people make videos of like workouts with pots that you would follow on YouTube. Like you would follow pot specific workouts on YouTube. Because I never knew that that was a thing. All nice things. All good things. Sorry that you guys could see that trash can. So yeah. Yep, they're not super professional, but I just wish I could edit their stuff for them. Do you edit videos, Sugimoto? So I guess what exactly would you guys want to see or want to know in terms of like do you want to know my approach to programming for somebody with pots, like what it looks like over time, or would you just want to see like here are basic exercises that I think that people should be doing with pots, and then make like a 5-minute video off of it. I'm not really sure I'd even be able to make like a 10-minute video. You know what I mean? Which 10 minutes seems to be my sweet spot. 8 to 10 minutes. At least for like audience retention and things of that nature. Because I'd be down to just be like, if you're higher functioning, blah, 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 blah. I'd love for you to do a follow along. Yeah. What the programming looks like over time. Okay. I think that that's way more my speed, because what I'm imagining in my head is like a Tony Horton P90X, like, all right guys, let's get on the treadmill. We're going to walk it out for 5 minutes. And if you're not high functioning enough, we're going to, what? Can you get me some grapes? Thank you. And if you're not high functioning enough, then we're going to hit the recumbent bike. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. And I'm not that guy. I am not that guy. When you see me in the gym, even with my athletes, I have one of two modes. It's either like, let's go, stop being a pussy, pick that shit up off the ground. I'm either like that, or I'm very stoic and joking around with my clients. Like I don't really have, that boot camp instructor in me anymore. I've professionalized my business and my attitude a little bit too much. I wish I did have that in me, because one of my buddies, he has no business sense, zero business sense, but like he's one of the best coaches that you could ever ask for because of his enthusiasm. Like if he knew how to structure business and do marketing and get clientele, like I swear to you, he'd be a millionaire in the next 6 months. But like he has no business sense or anything like that. But he is that guy. He for somehow has this memory bank of like motivational quotes and stuff that he keeps on deck, and he's like screaming at his clients and like knows when to turn the music up, knows when to turn down. Like, it's really cool to watch. It's like a craft that you cannot learn. You just have that. It's an art. It's an art form. Yes, what the programming looks like over time. Erica, I would say many videos, basic examples. How would one progress? ETC, etc. No, not that, but that would be hilarious. Yeah, I think it'd be funny as hell if you guys just saw me play a character of like Tony Horton or freaking, what's that dude? Billy Banks? No, what was his name? I don't know. It'd be funny. It'd be like 1, 2, 1, 2, hook. Oh man. There's yeah, I think my approach to this now is going to be doing more general recommendations for like health, wellness, and then some like vloggy style stuff. So you guys can see like the ins and outs of my life, how I actually live in order to manage this thing, because I do a lot of things, right? I do a lot of things. Don't influencers play characters? Yes, they do. But have you noticed how the influencers that play characters don't have longevity? At least not very great longevity, right? Like if even so much, like, thank you. Oh, you even rinsed them off? Thanks. Even look at this. Look at how lucky I am. Wow. Even the influencers like Mr. Beast, has been under fire, dude. He's been under fire. Or Jake Paul and Logan Paul. They played characters for so long, and they've been able to do a really good job at pivoting. You know, me personally, I don't want to play. I don't like the character thing. Okay, let me take you guys through my YouTube career, even with this channel. This channel started as like a fitness forward vlog, and I still have videos logged. Like, I've hidden them, I've privated them. Maybe I'll make them not private so you guys can see. I privated them, but it started with me. I think one of my first videos was like an intro to a bodybuilding prep that I was gonna do, or a powerlifting prep that I was gonna do. It was like 8 years ago. And even then, I'm like trying to play this cool blah blah, and it felt so inauthentic that I just didn't even want to put it out, you know. And then there was another one where it was like, get an Instagram booty, and then it was like kind of like a vlog, and then I showed my ex-girlfriend, my girlfriend at the time, you know, like a hip thrust workout or like some sort of like glute workout. Privated that. Then I started to just do like normal vlogs. Like your FouseyTube, Roman Outwood type of vlogs. I deleted all those. Yeah. So like for me, what's always felt best, and it's interesting because it's something that my mentor told me. My mentor told me, he's like, you know, one of the things that I really appreciate about you, because he's the one that basically converted me from atheist to Christian to a Christian. One of the things that I appreciate you is that you are constantly on the pursuit looking for truth. And I think that's one of the reasons why I get so fired up about a lot of things, is because I'm on the pursuit of truth. I always have been. I don't like being fake. And when I feel like I'm playing a character or being fake, even in like real life, it really bothers me. And because the truth will always come out. Even if it's you playing a character to monetize, or, you know, even business wise, right? Like my training business, I don't pretend anything. I always tell every single client that I have, I'm very good at what I do, but I'm not going to do things like, I'm not going to do things for novelty for you. Like, the principles of strength and conditioning are very easy, very simple. It's just putting it together requires a mind and creativity that some people don't have access to. And so my brain is very good at like programming, you know, and doing things that seem, I don't know, like, I don't know how to explain it. my brain is very good at like putting programs together for people and keeping it interesting enough, but following a protocol that's going to work over time. And that's why I have such a big booklet of clients that have gotten scholarships or have, been almost Olympic level athletes. Like I had one swimmer girl who was like, she was doing Olympic trials, I'm pretty sure. And then I've had like very high level gymnasts, high level baseball players, people that like, want to go to the league and stuff, like, because I don't pretend and I just do the things that actually work. And so even, with YouTube, like one of my main goals for this channel, I remember thinking about this actually, Jazan, because of a comment that you made a long time ago, and this is not shade at you. I think but you had said something about like my approach being like kind of aggressive, and I was like, my approach is aggressive. Like I had to take an internal look, because of the comment, and I was like, my approach is aggressive, but that's me, and I can't sway from that because that's how I am. So because my goal is to build businesses, right? And to build a customer base. And even if the customer base is like me getting to 1,000 subscribers and then having, lives where I can take donations and stuff like that, I don't want people who don't like me as a person to even be part of the audience, because then I can't be authentic. I can't say things like retarded or, like I can't just be me. And then I'm selling my soul, and I don't want to sell my soul. I want to be me, always authentically true, because if I can't be me, the only person at the end of the day, guys, listen, the only person that you guys have to be okay with liking you at the end of the day is you. And that's something that I came to a conclusion about a very long time ago. Like, you have to be okay with every decision that you have ever made in life ever, right? When you die, the only person that matters, aside from your family and, all these other people that you love and whatever, is you. And you're the one that's going to have to deal with on your deathbed. Did I live authentically? Did I live an authentic life? Was I happy? Did I stay in a relationship too long because of that person and waste my time? Did I do a job that I hated for no reason? Like, all these things are going to compound. And I always think about that when I'm dying, when I'm on my deathbed. Am I going to be okay with every choice that I made? And obviously not every choice, but am I going to be okay with the choices that mattered? Was I authentically me? If you did a workout video that you can follow and go ahead and throw a bunch of hardcore P90X grunts in there to make us all uncomfortable, that'd be enough for me. That would be so funny, dude. Erica, I have to get going. Have a nice day, all. Erica, peace out, dude. Thanks so much for coming back. Erica said before, I think you need to follow what you're so passionate about and be willing to be flexible with your content. Yeah, absolutely. You got to always think about pivoting. Sugimoto, seriously, though, check out Jeremy Ethier. Beautiful videos, to the point, super chill, super factual, high quality vids. If you manage to only get a few vids out there for pots, unstoppable. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see who this guy is. Jeremy Ethier? Yeah, there we go. 6.7 million subscribers. I'm switching streaming platforms to do more. Jazan, are you still here? Are you still in here? You're the only other person that I know that watches me that actually creates content. I'm switching streaming platforms though, because I use OBS right now. So if anybody in the chat can help me out with this, but OBS is so, gosh, dude, I don't like it whatsoever, but I use it because it's the only thing that I know about. But I think that I'm switching to StreamYard because some of my other buddies who are really successful in the podcast space and the streaming space, they all use StreamYard because they say it's like way easier, way more simpler. OBS feels like I have to jump through hoops and ladders to do things like screen share and not like sacrifice my privacy. Jazan, I'm here. Okay. Jazan, do you use a streaming software? Do you go live? If so, what do you use? My buddy who owns this thing called the Barbell Spin, he's got a successful podcast, successful Instagram, all this stuff. He uses StreamYard. You don't stream, okay. All right. Thanks anyways. Yeah. I'm just going to try it. I'm going to try it next time so I can screen share and then we can like watch videos too together without me sacrificing anything. It's also like a pain in the ass on OBS like split screen for whatever reason. What are you guys doing today? What are you guys doing to get closer to your goals? Whether it be recovering from POTS, whatever chronic illness you may deal with, financially, professionally, what are you guys doing to get closer to your goals? I want to hear it. Give me something, y'all. What are your goals? What goals do you guys have set up for you? Every morning before getting out of bed, I do my workout, then affirmations, and then gratitude. What does that look like? Do you have a gratitude journal? Sugimoto, serious. Downsizing, realizing I don't need a whole lot of shit to make my goals. Selling a lot of my musical equipment. Since I'm moving. Where are you moving? Out of that godforsaken state? I was just in Dallas, Sugimoto. You know what's interesting about that? Jazan, I'm big on affirmations. I'm big on gratitude. It's interesting because I keep hearing this thing. I don't know if it's absolutely true, but I keep hearing this thing where supposedly gratitude and anxiety exist in the same spot of the brain. And so it's actually impossible to be anxious when you're living in a state of gratitude. I don't know if that's true, but it sounds good. My goal is next to bettering my POTS are a healthier inner monologue leading to having more fun. That's awesome. I like that. I really like that. I tell this to my girlfriend all the time. Have you guys watched the movie The Secret? Have you seen The Secret? Answer this question first before I go on a little rant. Girlfriend's parents, LOL. Not the best circumstances. Sugimoto, we, you know, I'll tell you this. We all go through phases in life. 3 years ago, you guys want to hear some shit? 3 years ago, before I met Heather, I'm just saying she didn't do anything for this. I'm just saying that's the timeline that I operate off of. 3 years ago, I'm going to tell you guys a story of mine. I've now been homeless twice in my life. And not homeless like under a bridge or like anything like that. There's going to be a point to this. First off, Jazan, watch the movie The Secret. It will change your life. It's about the law of attraction, manifestation. I think that there's an easier way to get there now. God, that's my preferred way of getting there. However, The Secret did a lot to shape the way that I think. And so I'm going to go on this rant, this tirade real quick before I go on to me being homeless. If you have questions about my homelessness, type them while I'm going on this rant. Okay. When Heather oftentimes will like have these, babe, I'm going to have her come on. You guys want my girlfriend to join for a second so I can tell you these stories? She's shaking her head no because she just worked out and she doesn't want to show you guys her. Huh? I want to make a point real quick about manifesting and the law of attraction. I need to ask you questions just so they don't think it's bullshit.
I look like shit.
You do not look like shit. Come here. Come here real quick. Do you want to sit down or stand with me?
I don't want to be on video.
Okay, she doesn't want to be on video, guys. Okay. So a lot of times you'll be have worry or doubts, right? Like, here, how about she go to that microphone. You guys tell me if you can hear her.
Hello?
I have a second mic set up at a couch. Can you guys hear her? Say hello again.
Hello?
All right. So we're talking about like positive affirmations and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Jazana is talking about that. And I said that that's something that I'm really big on. And being like delusional is something that I'm really big on too. So how often do you have like a negative like thought or mindset? And I'm like, dude, you have to shift that because you're not going to. The point, like the main driver is like, if you have this negative mindset or if you have bad inner dialogue, you're less likely to actually do the things necessary in order to have the preferred outcome, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how many times has it been that I've like called some crazy shit? I've said like, this is going to happen and we're going to make this happen or whatever, and then it ends up happening.
Lots of times.
Yeah. Okay. So I want you to give like a real the deepest example, the living situation.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we were supposed to be out of my apartment by August, the end of August, I think, or some mid-August or something, like a couple years ago. And we have 2 kids and had 2 dogs at the time, and it was very difficult to find somewhere to rent in that time. I mean, now too, even, I think, but in general, it was really hard to find somewhere to rent and then add 2 dogs to it. Forget it. I mean, we needed a big house with 3 bedrooms or a big apartment with 3 bedrooms that allowed dogs. So it was nearly impossible. And so it was getting down to the wire and we really had no options. It was not looking good. And I was very stressed, and Justin kept saying, it's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
So Heather's like here freaking out, right? She's freaking out like we're not going to have a place to live. And I'm
Rightfully so.
Yeah, rightfully so. Absolutely. But I'm unbothered by it because I truly think that there's some sort of force or energy that lives within us. Like, now I give all glory to God. I like to say that I'm one of God's favorites, but I think it's just because I have this way of like, I'm definitely not always super positive. I definitely have my down times or whatever, but I have this way of believing that things will work themselves out. And part of that is intentionally thinking. So like having the intention set in your brain, things are good, things are going to be fine. And this is something that I try to tell a lot of my POTS clients too, try to teach a lot of my POTS clients is like, look, hey, I know that what you're going through right now really sucks. And it seems like it's your whole entire world right now, that you're just like, you're dealing with, this one specific, 3 specific symptoms, whatever it is. But everything else in your world, everything else in your life is really not that bad, big picture, when you look at it. And it seems like the end of the world. It seems bad, but it's really big picture. It's not that bad, right? And also, because a lot of my clients, to be honest, the majority of my clients are higher functioning, and then I get some that are very low functioning. So I try to give them perspective. But the whole point is like to focus on the blessings, to focus on the good things, because when you focus on the good things, your perspective on everything will be better. And then I do think that there's some sort of like energy in the world that God blesses us with to be able to create and manifest lives that we want based on how we think and how we move and how we act, for sure. So I just wanted her to come on so that she could confirm that it's not bullshit. That
Well, we didn't even finish the story.
Oh, finish the story.
Yeah, so you posted on Facebook. Anybody in Pewaukee know of? Oops. Shit.
All right. Well, it's out there.
Anybody in
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin,
Whatever.
wherever.
We have guns.
Have anywhere to rent, and one of your good friends from a long time was like, I just bought a house and I would be happy to rent my house, and here we are.
Yeah, and then I know a lot of you guys are going to take it as like, oh, that was just luck or that's coincidence or whatever, but there have been, who's that?
I don't know. I'll leave.
But there has been multiple instances in my life where this has been a reality. Multiple instances where just simply from believing that it happened. So I just wanted to share that. So now we can go into the homeless stories if you guys want to hear it. Do you want to hear that or no? Because Sugimoto, this is hopefully going to be inspirational towards you. Papa. Papa. What's up, dude?
Hi.
You want to come and give me a hug?
I made bread.
You made bread?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. How are you?
Good.
Love you.
Oh, yeah.
So happy to see you. All right. Let me see that ankle. You got it wrapped up now?
Yeah, I
Give me
can't.
some.
My mom wrapped it.
What's that? Give me dabs, dude. All right. Can you close this door, dude?
When is this coming back?
All right. You guys want to hear my you want to hear my homeless stories? I'm live. I'm live. I'm live. All right. All right. So Sugimoto, you said it's you said not the best circumstances. So what I'll tell you this, or what I will tell you is this, is that in times of extreme like hardship or bad circumstances, you have a couple of choices. And actually, I think that that being in unfavorable circumstances is always the best position to start anything great from. I think personally that when you are at a disadvantaged position, that's the best spot that you can be in because you have nothing to lose and you have nowhere to go but up. And I know that sounds so corny, but there's this dude that I know who him and his wife are getting divorced. And one of the reasons why he why he's struggling so much with it and he still lives in the house with her is because she makes a crap load more money than he does. And my opinion on that, aside from like the man stuff, the masculinity shit or whatever, right? Aside from that, my opinion on that is he's putting himself in a very disadvantaged position, not just because, you know, she makes more money and she's, you know, he's waiting on her, like he's, you know, whatever. Not any of that. I think one of the best positions that you can be in, especially as a dude, but I think it works for both ways, is in a bottom level, like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. because when you're in that position, so many things come to your brain. So long as you're willing to actually connect with your higher self and be willing to receive information, be willing to make certain changes and certain adaptations, just like our body does, right? So long as you're actually willing to put that effort in, dude, so many things can happen. That's where the most creativity in my life has ever come from. So like the first time that I was quote unquote homeless, right? Was because I had just broken up with my son's mom. And obviously, being a man and being the person that I am, I was like, hey, I don't want you to have to deal with like finding another place. Like, I want you and my son to be okay. I gave her my car. I gave her one of my cars. I paid her rent still, like all that stuff. So I'm not like technically homeless, right? I just don't have like my own apartment yet, because finding an apartment, especially where we live, is like extremely difficult. So yeah, I had to go live with a buddy for a little bit. And, but the thing that happened during that time was so much transformation and so much clarity on like what I wanted and needed to do, that my business like skyrocketed through that, because all I was focused on was getting better at my craft, because it was out of sheer like, I don't like this. I don't want to live with a friend. And living with a friend wasn't due to the fact that like I couldn't find an apartment or couldn't afford an apartment or anything like that. It was because there was nothing available. It was winter in Wisconsin. When you're trying to find a place to rent, it's absolutely impossible. Renting doesn't start until about May or April. And even then, most times that's when like people are moving out, and then it's just a shit show. So I had to live with my friend for all of winter for the most part. And then an apartment in his complex opened up, so I was like first dibs on that. But basically, I only had time to focus on my craft. So from like 5 o'clock in the morning until about 8 p.m. most days, I was working. And I was working with clients, and I was getting more people, more results, and I was building a bigger booklet, and I was building more relationships with different schools and different teams and stuff. So, but that was part of, because I was like, I don't like the situation that I'm in. Money can solve a lot of issues, so I'm just going to make more money. So I went from like making good money to like good money. And then, so that's just one example of like how being in a disadvantaged position like helped me out a lot. The second time was, so the apartment that I had rented had a lot of issues with it that they had lied to me about. And so one day I woke up with a silverfish crawling across my chest. Do you guys know what a silverfish is? The bug. I woke up to a bug crawling across my chest. I was like, oh, hell no. This was after other problems, like people smoking weed upstairs, and like parents parents outside grilling, asking their kids to get them beers and stuff. And I was just like, dude, I'm done with this place. It's ridiculous. I can't be around this, especially because I have a son and I don't want him exposed to things like that. And so I had wrote to the landlord. I was like, dude, you guys like didn't take care of any of the stuff that you said you'd take care of. I have a kid. There's people smoking weed in the building, all this stuff. And so yeah, they let me out of my lease early, which was really nice. And then I had found another apartment. And so I'm a business owner. If you know anything about being a business owner and finding places to rent as a business owner, or even buying a house as a business owner, it's extremely difficult unless you have like unreasonable amounts of money. And I just am not there yet. I wasn't there yet either. Like I don't have $1 million sitting in my bank account, and so not yet. And so anyway, I found a place, right? And so they told me that they accept all my confirmed income sheets and all this stuff. And I had to fly out to go to Texas for work. This is about like 3.5 years ago ish, maybe almost 3.5 years ago. And so I had to fly to Texas for work. And then I told them, okay, cool. So I'm confirmed to move in. They say yes. I'm like, all right, great. I will come sign the paperwork on the Monday or Tuesday. I think it was like Tuesday that I get back, they said, or Wednesday. Regardless, I got back earlier than I thought, because I told them the wrong time that I'd be back, or the wrong day. Got back earlier than I thought, and I called them. And mind you, I had moved all my shit out of my old apartment, because my plan was I moved my shit out of my apartment. I stayed with my buddy who I got a position with me to go to this event to go work with. So I was like, hey, dude, can I just stay at your house for like 3 days? And then when we get back, can you help me move into my new apartment? Yeah, totally cool. Because I was moving basically down the road from this other friend. So he was like, yeah, cool. So then we fly out together to Texas. I come back. I call them. I'm like, hey, I'm back a day early. Can I come sign the paperwork now? The owner of the apartment complex doesn't want to take your income sheets. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Why? You guys already told me yes. Like, you already said yes. Yeah, he just doesn't want to do it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, what the hell? So long story long, they didn't want to accept it, even though I made, I think, like quadruple the amount of money, maybe 5 times the amount of money that I needed in order to be the apartment. Now at that point, apartments were only taking people that took 3 times the income. I was making like 4 or 5 times the rent. And so they didn't want to take me because they, for whatever reason, I think they thought I was a drug dealer, to be fair, because most of my payments through then were through Venmo, which is a stupid thing on my part. But we've since cleaned up. So I gave them bank statements rather than like actual POS statements and, stuff like that. So, but then because of that situation, again, I was down and out, and it wasn't like I was homeless because I couldn't afford to like be in a place, or I didn't have the credit or any of this stuff. It was just another circumstance that put me down. So like, adding to the point with Sugimoto, it's not the best circumstances. Yeah, I've been there, dude, and I've done that. Been there, done that. And hard times build hard people, dude. And so like, the best position that you can be in is a position like that. If you're down and out, that's the best time to get creative. It's the best time to figure out what you really want to do. It's the best time to stick to something. Because even that time then too, I was like, all right, the only thing I can do is focus on money again. Only thing I can do is focus on business. So again, started making way more money. That was my first time on track to make over 6 figures. That was my first time to be on track to make over 6 figures. I think that year I had increased my income like 20-30K or something, which is insane. That's just like amazing growth, And so I actually really favor being in positions like that. And so like, even with my gym, that was a third time that I've been like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening, because I had to, I didn't have to shut it down, but I decided to shut it down because it was costing me more money to run it while being gone and stuff than whatever. Shutting it down was another time that I was like, God, dude, I just have to figure this shit out. But every single time, you guys can see a trend. As so long as you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to be creative and you're willing to have a mindset that's positive. Now, adding to Jazan's point of affirmations and, gratitude and stuff like that. If you have that in you, and this time I don't think that I'm going to run into any major roadblocks at all, because I've put systems in place. The other thing is being smart enough to put systems in place and to not self-sabotage, right? So like, now I have systems in place. I have POS systems. I have people like, I have finance records and all these different things that you need to do, filing taxes, like all these things that you need to do. So as long as you can be smart enough, creative enough, and have systems in place and do everything the right way, gosh, dude, being in like a unfavorable position is one of my favorite things to do. Like, I don't want to be there again, but it gives you perspective on like what you're willing to do to get out of your shit. Jazan, ew, we have a ton of those as a humid country. I hate them so much. Dude, they are so gross. I think that you're talking about silverfish. They're so gross. So anyways, guys, and like, even when I was younger, my mom's here, so I don't really want to talk that loud about this. But there was a time that we were just like dead broke. Like, where I would like be at school and not want to go home because I just didn't know if there was going to be food in the fridge, or didn't know if there was going to be electricity, and my mom did like everything that she could to provide a somewhat comfortable life. And we were so broke we couldn't have cable. Our electricity did get shut off a few times. I don't know. There was definitely times where it got shut off, and we couldn't even afford to go to McDonald's, for $1 burger. Like, I remember we didn't have cable, and I watched 13 going on 30 every single day on repeat. And I was a 17-year-old boy. We had nothing else. We had nothing else. And even back then, it required me to like nut up and to figure it out, you know? And I did some not so very great things to acquire money, but I had to be creative, and I had to be creative with my time and figure out what else I could do. You know, I spent a lot of time skateboarding and doing other shit, you know. It was a really tough, difficult time. So yeah, that's you know, unfavorable circumstances are the best time for growth. That's basically all I have to say about that. And that's why I get so passionate about this POTS thing too. When I'm like, but you guys aren't doing the things. Like, you're not doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. You know, that's why I get so passionate about that. Because, like, I truly believe there's going to be so, like, you guys are not going to like this. But, like, I truly believe that there's so much blessing in that. There's so much blessing in being the one that has to go through the adversity. And some of you guys are going to be like, that's crazy. That is so stupid. How could you ever say that? People are suffering. Yeah, suffering creates some really strong ass people, dude. It's like with lifting and, you know, working out, like exercise. Like, you have to go through the suffering to get stronger. So anyways. Sugimoto, I really appreciate that. I've never been a particularly fit person. This POTS bowl came about when I was finally making the attempt. Then I lost my dad, then the POTS. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I just in my last stream just talked about how I don't know if you guys have watched any of my like more recent streams, but I talked about, and I think I might have made a video about this too, that like a really, really rough period of time just happened. To me, I had to put my dog down, and I don't know. Some of you guys might be like, it's just a dog, but like to me, my dog was everything, dude. He was everything to me. Like, through all the lowest of lows, through all the highest of highs. He's my best friend, dude. Best friend. And you know, again, I had to force myself to take some steps back from like streaming, posting videos, working so much. And I think it's okay to allow yourself some time. You know, like, I know that you guys like come on here and you think that I'm super hardcore and stuff like all the time. But I do believe that it's okay to give yourself some time. But to sulk is what the problem is. To sulk is what the problem is. Giving yourself some time, but understanding when it's time to stop giving yourself time. You know what I mean? And so, even with the passing of my dog, that still is like a motivator for me. I don't know. I don't know what it is. So, I wish I could share my whole story, but the short of it is that I had a great job, great income, then POTS came and took everything. So you're right, nowhere to go but up. Yeah, dude. I mean, dude, look, Sugimoto, I can 100% relate to this. And this is something that I feel like you guys don't really know much about me. So the few of you that are in here right now, you're going to learn something, is that when POTS did the same thing to me. when my business really started taking off, really started thriving, is when I was in the thick of pots. Like when I didn't know what was going on. Like I didn't know what was going on. And so I like I would run out of appointments with clients. You know, I thought I was going to lose everything. And I did start losing income. And then I had to figure it out. You know, I was like, I can't let this beat me. I just can't let it do it. You know, so like, I know for some people it's worse than others. For some people, taking action is harder than others. For some people, they sulk a little too long. For some people, they can't deal with pressure the same way as other people. You know, so I can empathize with all that because I was actually there. Yeah, I can empathize with that. Oh, big time crier here. Can't help it. Jewish family, but you better bet I'm going to cry and I'm going to keep moving as I go. That's right. Yeah, I think that you should do that. I mean, you know, me as a guy, like I'm not going to cry in front of people. You know what I mean? But like, I've taken my time to cry. Trust me. I've taken my time to cry. And I still haven't gotten over this. Like the thing with my dog, I've felt emotionally numb for a while. But I realized that life keeps moving and I got to keep doing the things, even if I don't want to, even if I don't have the energy, even if I don't have the emotion to. And I'm slowly starting to get back. I find that getting back in routine is everything, you know, and like I'm slowly getting the emotional side of me back. Like I've cried again, which is good. For me, that's good. Like I've been able to do that again. And I lost that ability for about a week. I couldn't cry. And so like I've finally gotten that back, which is good. But I attribute it 100% to finding routine. Jazan, I find feeling my feelings, taking time to process them, and then moving on, fulfilling. Yeah, I agree with you. I find that too, to be totally real. Oh, that's what was happening. You nerd, you little freaking stupid idiot. Um, yeah, I find that too, Jazan, and I know that, like, I know that so many people come to this channel and they probably see some like hard ass dude, right? And like they're like, this dude, what's up with him, you know? But I'm very much so about being in tune with your feelings and feeling your feelings. But I don't believe in letting your feelings control you. That's what I don't believe in. But I 100% agree with you. Like, feel your feelings, let them out, do it in an appropriate way. Also understand what an appropriate time frame for that is too, because I think that it's my personal belief that I think a lot of people take too much time spent on their feelings, you know, and I think that a lot of problems can be solved with doing things when you're not ready to do them. So like if you're really sad and you've given yourself a couple days to like, you know, decompress and whatever, I find that like, okay, jumping back into the water before you're, you know, wanting to is the best way to get over it. That's for me at least, you know? So yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you for sure. For sure. I'm getting that for sure. What movie is that from? Super bad. Yeah. Yeah. So yep. Sorry, I just had to send out a text to some clients. All right, guys. What else can we talk about on here before I get off? Before I get off stream. Anything else you guys want to know? Could be personal, could not be personal, could be maybe suggestions on what y'all want to see. I don't know. Tell me something. Tell me something before I get off this live. How are we at 1 million concurrent viewers right now? 1 million. Oh my gosh, dude. No way. Yo, StreamYard is freaking bugging on their pricing. Jazan, I can tell you that is my bedtime, so this is a perfect time to stop. Haha. Yeah. All right, cool. Awesome. Good night, Jazan. Have a good sleep. Sugimoto, glad I could make it today. I'm glad you could make it today, too. Thanks so much for joining back. I'm going to be back on stream regularly. I had to take time off, not just because of, putting my dog down, but also because I was traveling for work, and I have to travel again for the podcast this upcoming week. So I'm going to try. Thank you for the live. Bye, Jazan. I got to travel again this upcoming week. I got to go to Alabama. And then we have some travel in September. So thank you guys so much for watching this live. I appreciate y'all being here. Thanks for joining me. See you in the next one. Tomorrow? No, not tomorrow. Not tomorrow. What day? I don't know. Friday or Saturday. No, Sunday. All right. Peace out. Come on out to Vermont. You're in Vermont now? What? Oh, maybe that's where you're going. Maybe. There is something in Vermont that I do want to go check out. The HWPO. You have been out there? What the heck, dude? I didn't know this. All right. Well, hopefully Vermont is treating you right, dude. All right, guys. I'll talk to y'all in the next one. I think it's going to be either Friday or Sunday. So regardless, thanks so much for watching. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Go hit the links below. Help support the channel. I'll talk to y'all. Talk to you in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.